Hey everybody, welcome back to Glowing Card Sports and a very special playoff video. So just real quick, want to run down, and again, not too prepared. One second, let me look at the playoff games and the lines for those. Now I am 4 games under 500. Let's see if I can get at least to 500 by picking, well, hopefully all of these games. 500, right? That's what I said. Man. Um, so let's go ahead, and there are 6 games this weekend, so we could get it. I feel like I should quit while I'm ahead. In that, if I get these picks, then I'll go ahead and kind of quit for the season. I won't really do that, but I've thought about doing that. So let me open up the spreadsheet. We'll go down and we'll do playoffs week 1 right here. First game we have are how'd the Cleveland Browns make it? How'd the Houston Texans make it? I thought the Texans were no joke when they beat Denver. They just happened to have a really good week, and we just had a really crappy week. Just looking back at the Broncos season, it's so frustrating. Like, I don't think we could have beaten the Lions, right? That's like, and the Dolphins. I mean, obviously those are games we're going to lose no matter what we did. But there are so many just missed opportunities. If we beat the Commanders, we beat the Raiders week 1. If we had beat the Jets week 6, just those little opportunities we missed, and the Texans are one of those little opportunities that we missed. If we would have won that game, and New England, we're talking about Denver in the playoffs right now. We're talking about Denver in the playoffs and Kansas City sitting home doing nothing. Well, I guess if they'd finished 10-6 as well, they'd probably make the wild card. But Denver would have won the AFC West had they won 2 more games. So, a team on the rise. So they used to make NFL videos about the teams at the end of every season, and I think it was the Buccaneers or the Arizona Cardinals or somebody like that has just been bad year after year after year. And every year it seemed like that's the title of the video that they'd put together. They, regardless of whether they did better or worse than the year before, they had, the Buccaneers, a team on the rise, or the Cardinals, a team on the rise. That kind of thing. Off topic. I know I'm rambling. I just thought that was kind of funny. So I'm having a tough time picking here because these 2 teams are, I guess, pretty evenly matched. I want to. Boy, I'm just really not sure here. Give me Cleveland minus 1.5, and the reason I think that Texans are at home too. I just think Cleveland's that much better. I think they're going to win that. And you know how I like to take the plus points, which is what I'm going to do for the next game, Miami and Kansas City. Now I'm taking Miami 4.5. The Chiefs are favored by 4.5. First of all, I still don't think the Chiefs are that good. But I think the Chiefs could get lucky because I think they're at home, and this is going to be the coldest game, well, of the season for sure, and it may be the coldest game in these two franchise careers, as long as they've been a franchise. I think the wind chill for this game is like -30. It's going to be brutal, and I don't know how that's going to play out. No one does. Miami definitely has the harder um, thing to overcome because they're in Miami most of the time, and it's pretty warm most of the time. But that doesn't mean anything in the NFL. It really doesn't. I've seen times where Oakland or LA Raiders or the Chargers or the Rams or somebody coming in to Denver, and they're teams that week in and week out, they're in California and it's like 70 degrees plus, whatever. And they come into Denver and it's blizzard of, foot and a half, 3 feet of snow. And you think, oh, Denver's used to this. They're going to win this easy. And they come in and they get smoked. So I don't really know for sure if the weather plays that big of a deal in here. I think Kansas City may, because of that, pull off a win, but I don't think it's going to be by 4.5 points. So I'm going to take Miami, the Dolphins, plus 4.5. Man, these are all kind of tough to call. We have the Bills and the Steelers, and the Bills are favored by 9.5. I'm gonna take the Steelers plus 9.5. I think the Steelers lose this game, but I think the Bills win it by probably 7 instead of 10. But that's what they're predicting, is the Bills win it by a touchdown and field goal. I can't really say that isn't correct, but I can't not take the 9.5 points for the Steelers. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's kind of to offset a little bit of that pick earlier for the Browns, -1.5. Normally I'll pick when I think it's such a coin flip like that, I'll go ahead and I'll take the points. You know what? I am really thinking about that. I'm thinking about completely flipping those and taking the Texans plus 1.5 and then the Bills -9.5. It's, well, the same thing's going to apply in Buffalo, New York, because the Steelers are going to Buffalo. Granted, they're both cold weather teams. They're used to brutal cold weather. So in terms of that, I don't think it's going to affect it too much. But what I do think it will affect is the amount of the score. That's why I don't think Buffalo will win this by 10. Because I just don't think there'll be that much scoring. It'll be a slugfest. It'll be icy and brutal and cold and just awful. And because of that, I'm gonna take the Steelers plus 9.5. I don't think they win, but I don't think they lose by 10 either. So then we have the Packers at Dallas. And Dallas is favored by 7. Now, I believe they played each other in regular season. I can't remember if the Packers upset Dallas or not. But Dallas is at home. Dallas has been a high-scoring, high-flying team all year. The weather will not affect this because it's inside in a dome where I think more and more football should be played. Fortunately, unfortunately, good, bad, whatever. You want to see more scoring and more points and kind of some, uniformity. Start doming it up. Though I think Tom Brady threw like 8 touchdowns in a snow game once, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I think they scored like 50 points that day too. I think it was like 53-13 or something. They blew out whoever they were playing, Miami or somebody. So yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys at home -7. So that brings us to the Rams at the Lions. And again, I think that the Lions have a domed stadium, so the weather again, even though it'll be in brutal Detroit, the inside of that stadium will be warm and cozy. The Lions have been dominant this year. And watching them play my Broncos, I don't think there's a scenario where Denver wins that game. That's how good the Lions are. I think the Lions probably are. It's either them or the Niners in the NFC. One of those teams is going to go to and win the Super Bowl, Lions or the Niners. Though it could be that the Ravens. The Ravens are really good on the AFC side. The Ravens could pull an upset in the Super Bowl, but I think it'll be. I'll probably call it right now. I'm going to go Ravens, and I'm going to go Lions Super Bowl, and I'm going to call that the Lions get not only their first Super Bowl appearance, but their first Super Bowl win. If they play as good against Baltimore as they did against Denver, they win it. Flat, simple. It was easy for me to see that. That's why I thought Denver was better, because they seemed to, even though they kind of lost that whole-handedly, they didn't lose by much. They kind of hung in there most of the game. So I was thinking because of that, Denver would probably win out. And they didn't. And they lost to New England, of all teams. That's, oh my God, and that's Belichick's last win, isn't it? That's disgusting. That was his 4th win, and that was his last win as the Patriots head coach. That is revenge, because they've had an extremely difficult time against Denver, especially in the playoffs. Since we're talking playoffs, so I'm going to take the Lions -3. I know that didn't make sense when I brought it back around. Doesn't have to make sense. Lions -3.5, -3. Excuse me. Forgot to type the team name. I'll just have -3 on the thing. I would still know who it was, because I know they were favored by that 3 points. Last game, I think this might be the easiest one to call. Now, actually, this one might be the warmest game outdoors of the weekend. We got the Philadelphia Eagles at Tampa Bay, the Bucks. I would imagine it's still going to be cold there in the 40s or 50s, but Tampa Bay, Florida, right? Florida. Is probably going to be warmer by far for the cold weather that's going to hit pretty much everywhere in the U.S. So that'll be the warmest game. What happened to the Eagles? They were so dominant. Had they continued their dominant ways, this would have been an easy pick. It would have been Eagles the whole way. Man, I got another toss-up here. have to go with the points when I do that. We're going to go Tampa Bay +3. So, I'm still thinking about the Steelers pick and the Browns pick. If I should just flip those real quick. I'm not second guessing myself. That's it. I'm set. And the reason why is again, that cold weather. I got to keep in mind that there's just not going to be as many points scored overall. So I think the gap of victory is going to be smaller because of that. So yeah, I'm going to leave it. That is where we're at. Browns -1.5, Miami +4.5, Steelers +9.5, Cowboys -7, Lions -3, and Tampa Bay +3. All right. There are some more interesting bets that you can do. Like they have any quarterback to score 4+ passing touchdowns, any running back to score 150 yards rushing. I think that's actually probably a given. I think somebody's going to do that one. And they just have a whole bunch of interesting bets going on. So, just saying, if these 6 games are not enough, we could pick some of these too. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, most passing yards, and they have all the quarterbacks listed for the 12 teams. And I think they have it accurate. Dak Prescott, Cowboys quarterback. Cowboys are throwing the ball all over the place for crazy yardage. It's almost a gimme just to take Dak in that one, I think. We'll see. Anyway, I'm not going to do any of those picks for this channel, for this thing. It's just interesting to look at them. And some of these are very interesting. Like each starting quarterback gets 250 plus passing yards. That's attainable for most of the quarterbacks. But all of them? I don't know about that. Somebody's going to come up with a 180-yard game. So, yeah, I wish they had the flip side of that. Like, one quarterback doesn't hit 250 yards or something like that. So you could bet the flip side of that. Because I think that's more of a gimme. And I'd be looking to put together a string of gimmies for the just awfulness that took place this year for my picks. Anyway, it's exciting. We've reached the playoffs. I'll probably put together a Bronco one here. I've already kind of complained about Sean Payton again as the quarterback and what Denver may or may not need to do. So this one's just about the playoffs, though, in the 6 picks. So I'll probably do another video here just complaining about the Broncos, per usual, as any good Denver fan should be doing right now. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys for joining me on Glowing Card Sports. Again, I am your host, Adam. And as always, be good to each other.